Before we want to do all those mobility exercises for thoracic spine rotation, first we want to get the joint moving. Several options to do this. The first one is basically with a foam roller or something behind you to use that as leverage to get your thoracic spine to move. So some people refer to this as self-mobilization, self-manipulation. We may get a few pops, which is just a quick stretch of the joint. Doesn't matter if it happens or not, but if it does happen, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good. It just means a stiff segment or area of the thoracic spine is now free to move. So with this, and obviously the smaller object that you're using to create a pressure is going to be a little bit more intense. So you might want to start out with something broader like a soft foam roller or even a stability ball to extend over. So this one, we are looking just to loosen up your paraspinal muscles, mid-back, musculature of the back of the upper shoulders, just to make sure everything is loose and able to move. That way, when we go to do this rotational mobility work, these tissues and joints aren't limiting us from working in a new range. So here, not low back, probably the middle or the lower part of your upper back, about in here. You're just going to start crossing over, you're going back and forth. Nice and slow. Might get a little shaking just because your abs are working to bring you back up. But this is the first thing. We're just pivoting over the foam roller to open up your thoracic spine. Then you'll creep maybe an inch further down. You'll repeat the same thing. This one, if you have neck pain at the top, try to keep your chin tucked so your neck is flexed, but you're just hinging over. You can even get all the way to the in range. Inhale and exhale. Relax, then do it again. This one, if you're starting out with this one, you could do this for 2 to 3 minutes before you move on to the next one. Or if this is all you can tolerate, you'll stay here for about 5 minutes. Just loosen everything up. Again, using your arms as drivers overhead as a lever to create more extension. Just opening up the joint. To intensify this, you're going to grab a weight to hold over your chest. So this one I'm using a 20-pound ball. You could easily do a plate. You could do a dumbbell, kettlebell, whatever works for you. And you're going to do the same thing you did with the foam roller earlier. Start low back, and you're wanting this ball to be on the opposite side of the foam roller. So whichever segment you're trying to get to move is going to be in the middle. So again, you're going to pivot back and forth over that same spot. This should be a little bit more intense just because you have the weight of the ball pushing down, helping you. Again, taking a deep breath, pivoting over the spot, about 5 reps before you work farther up. Kind of repeating the same process. You can go all the way up, all the way down. Ultimately, you just want to spend about 5 or so minutes loosening this up. You can also just do gentle rolls. You can kind of rock a few degrees to one side, kind of loosen up one side of your paraspinals. You rock to the other side, doing the same thing. So next we're working into the mobility drills. Now that the joint's moving, the tissues are loose, we want to spend time actively working into that new range that we've gained now that everything's loose and ready to go. So this one we like to start in a position where there's not a lot of compressive forces on the spine, therefore that's laying down. And by doing so, you're allowing more space in between the joints of the vertebrae of the thoracic spine and the ribs. So therefore, when we go to rotate and open everything up, we'll have more room to work with. So this one you can start, everybody's seen this one most likely, start with the knees together. Then you're actively pushing your knees towards the ground as you're opening up here. So you'll get to the end range, try to make sure your knees are driving this way. You could have somebody hold you down. You could get like a sandbag, anything for leverage to for a passive assist instead of you actively working towards it is another option. But anyway, you're going all the way back. Inhale, exhale. You'll do that twice and you'll feel yourself melt. Hanging out there for 10 seconds or so after some breaths, and then you're going to come back. So you're going to do that about 5 to 8 times on this side, then you'll switch and go to the other side. If you want to, some things to be aware of here is you don't want to be extending through your lower back as you open up, because then you're going to get some compressive forces in the spine, a little bit of sharpness. So you're almost wanting to keep a neutral back, a little bit of lordosis. This natural is fine, but you should be feeling this in between your shoulder blades and your T-spine, a little bit in the ribs here. And then to farther lock out the pelvis, you can straighten both legs and then do the same thing. And you can see I have less motion. I'm going to feel a little bit more of a stretch through here, which is fine. So this one incorporates a little bit more of a separation stretch in between the lower body and the thoracic spine. But same thing, deep breaths, letting it melt at the end. Coming back, head. Next, I like to transition to a quadruped or all four position, just because this again is locking the pelvis with a little bit of a soft tissue lock with the hip flexion in this position. And then also I like this because we can use our upper body to create leverage with the ground to improve our rotation. So again, I like this. The more you sit back, the more you can lock off out low back and hip and get less movement, and then get more in the thoracic spine, which is what we're trying to do. So I like this one. Hands can be either way. If the fingers are out, you can get more of a forearm stretch and a chest opener as you rotate. That's up to you. It's whatever comfortable, because we're not doing this for the arms. We're doing this to improve thoracic rotation, working in the new range that we've gained. So here, heads coming with you. Deep breaths, and then coming back down. And again, you're going to do all one side. I'm pushing away to create rotation and come back down. So try not to extend through your neck like this. Try to keep your chin tucked as you rotate. And then with this, you can feel the tension. You can feel I'm wanting to shift. So it's almost like if you had an axis straight to the top of your head all the way down, you want to keep your head, your spine in the middle as possible as you rotate. So you'll do 5 to 8 reps on one side with a breath at the end range, and then you'll work to the opposite side. Again, at the top, some wrist extension will help open up the chest, as well as the forearm. And again, the chest is one of the muscles that if it's tight and restricted, it's also going to prevent us from rotating our thoracic spine. So it's another one I like to be opening up, to feel a little bit of stretch in the top there. So this is another kneeling one. We're locking out the pelvis through soft tissue lock. This knee is going to want to open up as you turn. You're trying to actively press this against the wall, or at least keep it in this position. So again, head's always coming with you, and you're going to use your left arm, where the arm is closest to the wall, to again push and create leverage for more rotation. Again, the hand that's opening up, you could extend the wrist, get a little bit more of a chest opener stretch as you do this. Again, at least 1 or 2 breaths at the end. 5 to 8 reps on each side. Again, with the back, making sure the back is neutral, not extending as you rotate. We're not looking to extend and rotate through the lumbar spine. So keeping the pelvis neutral, maybe engaging the core a little bit as you open up. This one also locking out the pelvis through soft tissue with how the legs are oriented. This one, some of the motions that we do, we're actively trying to work into the range, which is good. But if you're limited, you kind of want something to create leverage to get you there. So for instance, this one, we're going to be opening up towards the wall. And then once I'm here, I'm using the wall to rotate myself towards it. And again, your head's always looking as far as it can in the direction that you're trying to rotate your thoracic spine. And then from here, a few breaths, and then you can even bring this knee away from the wall. Then you'd come on back down. So this one you could do first before you're actively working into some of the other stretches that we've been doing. This is just a good one to create leverage, and you can even do this one in a standing. As long as the feet are staggered, you're still locking out the pelvis.